Conservation Commission meeting, April 24th, 2024. Present are
Susan Tucker.
Colin Adams, select board rep.
Patty Gale, staff. We are starting the meeting. I just want them to report.
Jean Walker,
David Neiman.
Amy Pollock.
Evelyn Miller. I planned it. Bye.
first on the agenda is map 5, lot 54, 54-1, 56, and 56-3-1. Proposed lot line adjustment between the 4 lots. No new lots will be created. Lot 54 and 54-1 currently have conditional approval from the planning board to build 30 residential condominium units. This proposed lot line adjustment will allow the proposed drainage structure for the condominium development to be located on their own lot versus being altered by easement on lot 56 and 56-1-3-1. Property owned by Henley Investment LLC, map 5, lot 54 and 54-1, and PEL Properties LLC, C-O Denise Langley, lot 5, lot 56-3-1, located on Mass Road and Tato Drive, Zone Commercial Industrial Flex Zone. When we have someone here to, would just state your name.
My name is Jake Dorfler with the Dubay Group. As you stated, we're here for the lot line adjustment between 4 lots. Lot 54, 51, 54-1, 56, and 56-3-1. A lot of it was in the description already, but the conditionally approved site plan, it has an easement on this same piece of land, which encompasses some drainage, access, and grading. And the owners got together and decided, or thought it would be a better idea to just have all those items on their own land. So Hemley Investments and Pell Properties came to an agreement, and the lot line that you see on your plan follows the same path that the easement did. There's no land added to that. It's the same exact piece of land. It just, there's not a lot to really say about what's going on. We're just taking the easement land and swapping it. Basically, Hemley Investment will be purchasing that piece of land from Pell, and that way they can control their own drainage, and there's no easement, no legal action there. Let's see.
So,
There-
excuse me, so by moving the lot line, you're extinguishing the easement.
The easement, well,
Everything will now be on the new lot.
it will. The easement hadn't been recorded yet,
Okay,
so that basically there would be no need for the easement
right,
at
that
this point.
was my point. Yeah, thank you.
I did pass out a second plan. It's virtually the same thing that was sent in the easement, in the email. It just has an inset in it. I know you are obviously aware that there's a conservation easement that runs up that property line, and we've shifted that along the edge of the property, and it stays on the Hemley Investment side, so it continues through.
So we still have the same conservation
Same
portion
conservation.
that we
Yep,
had
it's a
swapped
20
earlier?
foot. It's a 20-foot wide easement that runs up
To
that
get
property line.
to the top, okay. That hasn't been interfered with it?
No, we will be shifting it just because where the easement is,
Right. Okay.
is going to be grading there.
And I typically wouldn't have someone come in for just a lot line adjustment, but because there was a conservation
Because-
easement on it and it was a conditionally approved plan that had drainage, I just, in case there was a concern or questions, I wanted them to come in rather than delay them for another
Right,
month.
that make, yeah. Does anybody have any questions on this or concerns? It seems like it'll be better to have it all on the property rather than
Right.
somewhere else's. I
Right.
mein,
Yes.
I think it's
And
simplifies.
that's, yeah, it
So-
simplifies it, like as you said.
is that caused, yeah.
And the new deeds will reference the conservation easement now is going through these lots.
Yes.
Okay. So the conservation easement is pretty much the same as what it was
It'll take a little bit of a different path, but it's saying
Which is
20-foot
okay.
wide, but yes.
Is it an
it's
easier path?
I'm not really quite sure.
It wasn't a very easy path, okay? Right, anybody have any other questions or concerns or?
So this is before the planning board tomorrow night, and as part of technical review, they would like to have comments from the Conservation Commission to be passed on.
Okay, do we have a comment to send over the planning board?
No issues
That-
of concern of the
that-
Conservation Committee?
So I'll make a motion to that.
We need a motion to,
I'll move, no issues of concern.
Second?
so we need a second on that?
One second.
Susan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? I guess. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in,
Yeah,
and I hope
I
it
told
was,
you it could be really quick or it could not be.
I prefer this way.
That's why I was like, just in case, please come in.
yeah, no, it's a good idea, Patty, yeah.
Patty, do you want
Especially
these
when
big
we-
plans for
All these
planning
plans come back to me after the end of the meeting.
Thank you for coming in.
Because they're all going in, they're actually gonna leave them down here, because they're gonna put, the same plans are going before the planning board.
If we had had questions, we would be here.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have map 5, lot 49-1, a proposal to build a 10,640 square foot residential retail building. The property owned Roadrunner Investment LLC, and the applicant is Aubuchon Realty Company, located at Mass Road Zone, Commercial Industrial Flex Zone.
Yeah, see if you can beat that time clock.
Pardon me?
See if they can beat the time frame they just set.
I don't think we'll beat it, unfortunately.
Do we have someone here to present this? What kind of a retail is this going to be, do you?
It's going to be a dry goods store, so no outdoor operations, no food service or anything like that, just simply dry goods.
Can you state your name for the record?
Oh, sure, yeah, and for the
Oh,
record, Matt
sorry.
Bonbacy with Bowler Engineering, we're the civil engineers on the project, and
Okay.
here is Michael Hare with...
Mike Hare, Aubuchon Realty Company.
Okay, so, yes.
Yeah, get right to it, Susan.
First comment,
We're going to have,
when I received this and opened it up to read it, it's unreadable.
Don't do that to us.
Sure. Fair.
See the print?
Oh, on the general notes,
On
for
this-
sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
.135 font.
Right, it cannot be read.
Yeah.
So I don't,
That's just for you to get ahead of time, so you get a concept, because
Right.
we require, that's what we mail, even the planning board gets that, and then when you're at the meeting, they always provide a big plan for you to look at on the table.
But the point being, if we can't read
Read
it,
it.
how
You
can
can't
we?
review it.
Magnifying glass.
you can't even read it with a magnify, I tried. You
Not
cannot
in
even
our
read it with
budget.
a magnifying glass.
Fortunately, I have a
so
mic.
do we have a presentation on this?
Yeah, I can give you a quick
Go ahead.
presentation. And I'll try to focus on things I think you guys will care most about, but happy to talk about anything. So it's a proposed 10,640 dry goods retail store. I'm sure folks are familiar with the property. It's just to the west of the car wash from, it was constructed a couple years back. The road actually is called Sparkle Court, which does crack me up a little bit, but it'd be just coming off the other extension of Sparkle Court. It'd be entirely on the front portion, so right now it's kind of a long gravel area with some vehicles parked in there. It'd be in that front portion. When you look at that portion, it's very sandy, very dry. That said, we did have a wetland scientist go out and just walk the property, or our portion of the property, just to make sure we had a clean bill of health as far as wetland goes, and they provided a letter that we do. We also had a soil scientist go out and do soil testing for our stormwater, which I'll touch base on. Brook project proposes 33 parking spaces, an access drive from Sparkle Court along the east side, or in between the car wash and the proposed project, just as an access to the rear, and then stormwater drainage and other improvements. Again, no outdoor storage materials or outdoor real operations. A fully enclosed solid waste trash area at the rear of the store, which will be fully screened for the trash, and private water sewer connections. We did provide a full drainage report to planning as part of our submission for NHDES and local requirements. It includes catch basins and sediment forebays for pre-treatment. Our soil testing did yield that there's actually really good permeable sand on our portion of the lot, which allowed us to completely detain all stormwater for all storm events we looked at up until a 50-year storm event. So any water that hits the parking goes into the basins and nowhere else from that point forward. I know Plain did have the town engineer, DPW, review it, which we got yesterday or the day before. A few technical comments for us to run through, if we're happy to do so, but I think nothing substantial that we think would change the methodology of the drainage. Last but not least, we provided erosion and sediment control plan in our plan set for erosion control barriers, temporary stabilization measures, those types of things. That'll be followed throughout construction, and then we also have to file a construction general permit with the EPA prior to construction with a SWIP, and that'll be on site and maintained as well. Happy to get into more detail, but I guess those are the things I thought would be most pertinent to this.
So we're standing on Mass Road looking at the new car wash. This is just to the right.
Exactly correct.
Yeah, this area's been roughed up. There's some vehicles and trailers and whatnot on the lot right now.
Correct, yep, yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Somebody has the trailers are, all right, at the same area, close?
On the site, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's the owner, that's not the applicant.
Right. Thank you.
Is there any
I
wetlands?
was just gonna ask that question.
Yeah.
Were there any,
So we did have a wetland science review our portion of the site and anything in the vicinity, and there are no wetlands in that location. It's a very big site overall, so I know.
Yeah, so the plans that are folded under a little bit are actually the boundary plan. They didn't fit on the table.
I know there was a previous subdivision as part of
See
the
the
car wash,
yeah.
so as part of that application, there's a wetland right to the rear of the
Yeah.
parcel. It's actually upgrading of our site, so I know that
This one,
exists back there, but nothing on our site or down grading of it.
it's a small parcel of land. Well, it's probably bigger than. Right in the middle. Now, how close are you going to be to the wetlands? Or-
At least 100 feet from when we're down grading it, but it's actually up, there's like a ledge face there, and it kind of breaks out of the ledge face up there.
And in their zoning, they're not required to have a wetland setback.
Okay.
You're running a straight line back to them, they're actually closer to
Yeah.
the car wash.
Car wash is up
than they would
here.
be to this development.
It's pretty steep here too, isn't it?
Yeah, and once you get back
When
there,
you get
yeah,
back
it does,
there, yeah,
yeah.
it's
Rocky
yeah.
and- I
Rocky,
just-
steep, yep.
Yeah.
Now, this outside of condominium unit line, it's not the condominium that we just talked about, is
No, this is a totally different property.
it?
This is, their first presentation's done, this is a
Right.
different property.
But I'm just wondering what this outside of condominium unit line with plans by others.
Yep, yeah, so, our project is gonna utilize about an acre right in front here. They're gonna take the owner, or the applicant's gonna intend on taking that as a condominium unit, then the rest of the development would stay with the existing owner for them to do with, something in the future if they so choose.
So after this, they're gonna do a land condo, they'll be coming back in and doing a form of condominium ownership, similar to what you saw next to Rite Aid, where Starbucks and the bank.
Okay.
Those are actually land condos, and they are planning on doing something similar. I don't know what the owner of the remaining portion of the lot wants to do with the property, but theirs will become a,
So this retail store will be in the front and the condos will be like a,
So the retail store will be in the front, it won't be like condo residential, condo meaning just like, it'll be a share, like a unit that they'll own a piece of the parcel, that'll be their portion, and then in the back, I think the likely uses are probably like storage or something like that, because it's tucked in the back, but the owner has to.
And this is not conservation concern, but have they done a traffic study? I guess what I'm wondering is, you've got a 2-lane road, are we gonna turn into, the Bedford for a long time was a disaster, then they just widened it, I mean, does our town do any planning in terms of future, what to do with, it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of development going along
they
that
did do a
stretch.
traffic study, but I don't have the information on
I
it.
can speak to it just a little bit, yes, so we did have to do a traffic study, town planning regulations require that. We submitted a planning that's been reviewed by DPW. Our particular use relative to trip generation is very, very limited.
Just yours, but you're not but when you do a study, you're not looking at what the possibility for other condominium develop.
Yeah, and I think if they were to do anything in the back, they would have to do another study and submit that, and we also have to submit to NHDOT, and they would have to do the same.
So I do want to point out, because it's kind of, you guys are doing your site plan, so as it will get approved, it's going to be a site plan with that portion of that lot with that site on it.
Yep.
For you to have it as a condo, you will have to come back again with the applicant to break up the land into the condominium
Yep,
form.
yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea now how many condominiums you're planning?
Yeah, I think it would just be the two, the applicant would take this front acre piece, and then the second condo unit would just be the remaining land for the current owner. So just the two. And we do have a lease or a condo line shown on the plans. The reason we haven't formalized that is we wanted to kind of get a little into the process before we started doing the documents.
And they would come in again for a subdivision
Yeah, right now
and
you're
site
just
plan
here for the
approval.
building.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I'm sorry, I just came out of a country that has exploded in population and just got really, but there was no city plan you could see. This was in Thailand, and it was just, I had been there 15 years ago and it was much smaller. Now it's almost 21 million. And you can, and they have no room to add to their road, so they're now trying to build a double-lane highway up over the one, I mean, not that we're gonna have that, but on the other hand, this is a major road that is feeding Goffstown, that is growing quite a bit, and then so are the other outlying. So I guess what I'm just saying, do they leave enough room to expand this road? College,
That
do you have any
portion
idea?
of the road is state.
It's state highway.
State.
So does the state have any plans at all? Do you know? Am I asking a stupid question, but it just seems to me like they're having a big choke point.
That would be up to what the state,
Yeah.
Planning this, okay, all right.
not, and they're probably not looking into it. Susan?
I haven't really looked at this because I couldn't read it in the beginning. But the access to the backland, do you show there, I mean, you have access to your property and the, where,
So this is existing Sparkle Court. This feeds into the car wash over here.
that's the car wash, right?
There's an existing stub here which just stops and goes to the vehicles which are parked in here.
Right.
We're proposing to take this existing stub, run it all the way to the back here and just stub it off. We're not accessing the back, it's just there if they need
Okay.
it. And then we're accessing off of that.
Okay, I was just trying to see where is the access to get
To all the
out
way to the
back
back.
to the rest of the property, okay? And it doesn't cross the wetlands, there's no issue where that comes in
Yeah.
to deal with what's the wet is behind you.
The wetland would end this plan to be somewhere, over down here.
Okay, because we don't want to see you wanting to deal with something we don't know about right now,
No.
with the wetland.
So you have rapidly draining soils on the site?
Very.
All the stormwater will be infiltrated on site?
Correct, yep.
Properly engineered,
Yep.
all that good stuff?
Yeah, makes-
DPW rating on that? Yeah.
Yep, yeah, it makes our life easier,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
some kind, who knows?
I wish they all had soils like this,
Yeah,
that would be.
I'm gonna make sure that they have an inspection, maintenance, and modification plan
36
in place if they,
parking spots.
Yep, yeah, we did include an O&M plan.
Okay.
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you have parking spaces here. I don't know, anybody else have any questions?
What about snow storage? Do you have adequate area for snow storage?
We believe we do. That was actually one question from engineering, is to actually show a plan or an instead of that, so we will show that. We believe we do, but we'll make sure we delineate that on the final plans for planning.
Okay.
And a landscaping plan with
All right, this is just. looking
native
at this.
species and that probably,
Yep, yeah, no invasive species, nothing like that, and planning did have regulations to require quite a bit of plants, so I forget
Okay.
the exact number of trees, but it's quite a few.
We like native plants. Note that. And, it's a bike trail on that side of the road right there?
It goes
Yeah.
across the front. The
Goes
rail trail
across the
does.
front.
Yeah.
So,
The crossing for the rail trail?
Are you a little back or are you right on the rail trail?
So the the actual rail trail itself is,
think it's right.
runs right up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're set back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say the building itself is 75 feet or more away from it.
Okay, so it shows your plantings will be between your building and the rail trail.
Correct, yeah, we'll have some,
That somewhat.
yeah, we'll have some street trees along here. We also have plantings throughout the
Okay.
So, I don't even really, so the width of your access road to Mast Road?
It's existing, it's you know the car wash, the new car
Yeah,
wash?
I know where the car-
That's their access road.
You're
They're-
kidding.
That's where they come off of.
So you use the same access as the car wash?
Correct, yeah, they.
So
they
you won't
come
be
off from-
making another cut?
Nope.
So, okay. Across the rail, I was thinking across the rail trail,
And the state likes to have limited cuts on the road.
I would think,
Right.
yeah.
So that was, like Hawks Motorsport,
Because it's,
you're gonna see that's gone through and that's gonna start to get developed, the trailer that's gonna be relocated, they're coming in off of it as
I
well.
was gonna say, yeah, there's a couple other ones. Have you talked to anybody at the rail trail about any of this, or?
I know they were at some of our initial planning meetings.
Okay, I
if
just-
There's a member of the planning boards on
Yeah.
the rail trail committee, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, anybody have any other questions, concerns? So
So
it's going before the planning?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And again, if there, any
We need to
concerns or
s-
comments you wanna
We need
pass
to
on.
send comments over to planning. So we have,
So you did say you do have concern, I mean, not concerns, but you're looking for snow removal for this.
she said, no, yeah,
I mean, that would be something to show snow removal on the plan.
Okay, yeah.
Any comments, if you have concern with traffic, you can stress that, you can say that. Native plants
yeah, anything that has to be
that
planted.
you like passed on,
We
so
would
they'll
like
put in
native
the.
plants.
I'm gonna write native plants.
There was
I'm gonna want
there was a
motion.
lot of mountain laurel there at one time, I think, on the hillside.
Show snow
Higher up,
storage.
yeah.
It was,
Up the slope, yeah.
the upper slope had it, yeah. I'm sure it's not there now.
What was the name of that plant, ma'am?
There was mountain laurel,
Mountain laurel.
yeah, it's native, pretty much.
Beautiful.
And you'll see a lot of it, like on the 114A and up around the,
Under
You want
the
mountain
mountain.
laurel?
We'll be sure to note that.
It's a shrubby, but it's real pretty and it's native. Any other comments?
Just so we can, I'm just writing native plant snow storage. Is there anything else you want to pass on? Evelyn, do you want to pass on your concern with the width of the road and traffic?
Yeah. Right.
There's not much they can do.
The width of the
though.
road and traffic, you would like that as for concern?
Well, it is a concern of mine. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it should be for our whole town.
You can say traffic's a concern.
Traffic concern.
Right,
As the
just
road.
I hope that they take a good look at that, and I understand it's a state road, but I do think that they have to consider, for the future, for now and for the future, there's obviously a lot of development that's going to go on in this place, and this is really a two-lane road to go through our town and then other towns, and I hope they're thinking way ahead. I think they should be, so, yeah.
You have any other comments that we can send to planning?
I'd like to see some performance standards for some of the landscaping, some of the species I'm seeing, because these are really droughty soils. And some of the species, make sure that they are going to survive.
Survive,
Yeah,
right.
So what
The pin oaks are of interest, because pin oaks, when you find them natively, which, by the way, I've never seen a native pin oak in
Yep.
southern New Hampshire.
I think it's a hybrid type thing.
But, well, no, yeah, but pin oaks aren't naturally around here. But they tend to grow in wet areas. You'll find them in swamp forests a lot. This is the exact opposite, it's dry sandy soil, so they may not survive too well there.
So you want,
Whereas there's a lot of other oak species that will do just great in the sand. A lot of oak species are adapted to dry and xeric, so that would be my recommendation is find oak species that are suited to dry sandy
native
environment.
species that are suited to that soil type?
Yeah,
Drought tolerant type species.
And the red twig dogwood doesn't necessarily like wicked bone dry soils. They like a little bit of moisture in them, so I'd like to see some sort of performance standards to make sure that these things
So that,
survive.
You know, look at red maples, they're pretty adaptable,
Yeah,
like
those
they
grow
can,
anywhere.
a wide range, but
Yeah,
So my concern would be,
not as familiar
and I
with the shrubs.
love having some nice vegetation, some bushes and that being planted, but can we make sure that there's good visibility for the rails to trail when they're going across, so that the people that are going on the rail, on the trail, and then the people coming out are gonna be able to see each other well enough. So I think what I'm trying to say is, don't have your planting right up to that intersection, just leave it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think he already has a plan, you're back,
We're back from there, but
yeah,
Okay,
because the
I'm
road,
looking.
they're not doing anything to the entrance of that road coming in.
It's gonna be the same as it is now.
Yeah, they're developing further back.
And the
you.
plantings aren't in the line of sight or anything like that?
no, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for bringing up the plant species, because I felt the same way with reviewing just.
Well, I'm not
what was
sure about
picked.
the shrubs, I'm not as familiar with shrubs, especially landscaping ones, but.
I'm admittedly pretty plant ignorant, but we do have a landscape architect on the team, so I'll reach out to them. I know they get the request often for native plants, drought tolerant plants, so I'll have them pick some, run through the species and see if they can be some more appropriate trees.
I think that's tolerable.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest soil right there. It's very ledgy, bony, right? That area.
yeah, and like I say, I'd like to see some sort of performance standards, like a annual inspection for 3 years. Anything that hasn't taken or hasn't survived, be replanted. And if it's not successful after 2 plantings, then we try a different species, or something similar to that. And we've seen things like that before, just to make sure,
Yeah.
because these soils are very dry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So the things that would do really well there would be red oaks, black oaks,
Yes.
pitch pine loves sandy soil.
Yes.
White pine too, for that matter.
any other comments to, yeah,
Already maintained it.
I'm good.
you good? Okay.
So I kind of got that word, so it makes sense. Do you guys want to make a motion?
Yes.
I got all the,
Do you wanna go through that with the ballot,
no.
or? No. Do you wanna make a motion to accept?
I'm writing it and I'm going over here.
Okay. Somebody wanna make,
Well, I will, but I'm just saying it's what we've been reviewing, which is the snow removal, my concern about traffic. Are they
With future
planning
development.
ahead?
Future,
The-
yeah.
With a
the
2-lane road.
Landscaping, what are some of the other things?
The native plants
Native
and
Drought tolerant
performance
species.
standard for a 3-year period to make sure they survive in the planting, and they have to maintain the lane, I'm just
maintain the
rewording.
plant, yeah.
And, what was the other one?
Road, traffic.
Yeah, no, that's what, I got the road traffic.
I think that would
I think-
probably,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there,
And not to be in the line of sight distance.
yes.
is there municipal water here?
There is, yep.
Okay. So it's a water source if you need to irrigate
I'll reword it,
the
so it
landscape
sounds
areas.
better.
But I think our intention would be to do so.
So I'm going
provided that
Eva
water-
Miller motion.
Yeah, Lavella made the motion, and we need a second on that? Susan? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for
so
coming
much.
in.
Thank you so
No,
much.
Thanks for having me.
Great night.
Well, I really meant it. All right.
Okay,
That was quick.
that was.
That was
No, no,
pretty
I
good.
guid.
You guys are good.
So this is,
I'm chasing it now, though.
but I do have a question. Again, what's the store gonna be?
I
Dry
think
goods?
They'll own the store, it'll be.
We don't know yet, we don't have a lease on or anything.
Okay, so it's, but you, dry goods, I'm thinking just anything like clothing or dry goods.
Right, yeah.
Stuff that
Just-
is.
It's not gonna be
That is okay.
automotive.
Not gonna be
Right.
automotive, food service, food, things like that.
Okay, not,
Okay.
okay, so, okay.
Only dry wines, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We need to do the corrections and exceptions on the minutes for March 27th.
Oh, I think that's wrong. Didn't you guys meet the 19th?
We did. We moved
March
it.
It
19th.
says March 19th on the minutes.
We did.
Yeah, it's
The
Patty's
19th.
era.
Oh, you mean the agenda.
Somebody want to make a motion to accept?
Wait a minute, there was one little thing, very, now I go, it was on the second page. No, I have to find it again, because I didn't mark it down.
You can just throw it on the side, because I'm gonna pile them out, because I'm gonna be out here tomorrow again.
Okay, oh, okay.
You don't need to roll them, you don't need to do
Like
that.
this.
No, because I'm gonna undo them and I'm gonna put them back on the table.
Can I just ask you a question? I understand it's a state road, but is the planning board talking to the state about what?
Yeah, they'll get into
Okay.
it, yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
I mean, that's what the town engineer, they get a traffic study, they have to, the curb cut's already there.
Want me to go on to the reappointment while you look, David?
They're adding traffic to an existing.
Oh, I can't find it now, but it was trivial, so.
Go ahead on.
But do they make sure that they have enough room to
Right.
actually add a,
Turn lane if they need it.
yeah, turn lane? That's, really like widen it to maybe 3 lanes.
Like
that
if
you-
as they continue to develop, are they gonna, like a turn lane going in?
Turn
I
lane,
don't
right.
know, that could be required, the state may require them to do that as they develop further.
I sure think it would be good planning.
They'll see it tomorrow night.
Well, it's like the Goffstown back row where you have Tower Lane coming in. This is what I think of kind of, because it's going in, you're getting little things going as the
Yeah.
road goes down.
Right, at the
Tower
Langley,
Lane.
there's a turn lane into the,
Tower Lane goes in, and then the gas station,
right, the
Dunkin'
gas station, there's
Donuts,
a turn
and
lane
then
for them
Yeah.
to go in, that's what I'm just
sports,
thinking.
whatever it is in back,
Right.
and then storage,
And
and
it's commercial, not residential.
so,
Right, which is good.
did you find it?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
The only thing I saw in the minutes was, second page, second paragraph reads, and they can't really comment it other than what they saw on their sidewalk. It should be sidewalk.
Okay, we got, now, with corrections, we have a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the
Okay, do we have a
correction.
second on that?
I'll second it.
Amy, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have to abstain, I was not
Abstaining?
there.
abstain, because I wasn't here, right?
Right.
This is, right, Mark, yeah.
Two abstentions?
And Susan had to abstain. That
That
that only gives us 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can we pass it with 3?
They have two abstain?
2 abstain,
All right.
You just have to have a quorum to vote. I don't think it matters how the vote comes out.
because Jane was here. Well, we'll bring this up at the next meeting.
I think you can.
Can you pass with,
You can pass it if 2 people abstain if they vote.
Sure.
okay. Okay, oh, because they abstained, they voted,
Right.
okay. Oh, I'm just making sure we can do this correctly. So,
Abstain, I wasn't here. Too bad, you gotta vote anyway.
yeah, okay.
So I actually have another question. I was asked to fill out an application to run for this position again. And I haven't heard anything, but I've been
Well,
away
you're on
for
here.
a
Okay,
month.
we
So
got that taken care of.
You're on here.
Yeah, you're on.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amy, Andrew, and you.
the 3 of us, we're,
Yeah.
oh,
so I guess that means it was
congratulations.
accepted.
Well,
Not
so
yet.
you,
So we make a recommendation to the select board to reappoint these 3
Right.
members.
Okay, all right,
Got it.
thank you.
yeah. Okay, we have to reappoint commissioners, and we have Amy, Paul, and Andrew, and Evelyn. Somebody want to make a motion? Yeah, Susan?
I'll move
You second that?
reappoint,
you should second.
Recommend-
I'll second that.
recommend to the select board
recommend to the selectmen,
the
All those in
reappointment of-
favor?
reappointment of Andrew, Evelyn,
Opposed?
and Amy.
Abstaining, okay. Carlos, I want to thank you for speaking up at the Selectmen's meeting for
Certainly.
the wetlands and the floodplain.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, and I'm
You're
sure everybody was
Yeah.
very
We haven't
pleased.
heard the last of it. We'll be seeing more as the thing
Right.
evolves. and-
And
Bills out.
we, as a commission, understand what the property was, and thank you again.
Yeah.
It was an
And I know
I was an island
Andrew
unto
had
myself
an
that
email in
night.
here also. Andrew has an email thanking you also, but it'd just be nice. Now, next we have, the commission needs to vote on the amount to allot towards the local contribution to the treatment of milfoil in the Manassas Lake, and the Goffstown Waterway did not submit for a grant this year, no treatment will be occurred because they had nobody in their association. I feel that in the last year, we gave them between 8 and 9,000, and I just feel that maybe that amount would be sufficient this year.
So they're talking about the Goffstown Waterways Association that is essentially defunct now.
It is,
Yeah.
and that,
So they're not having treatments. Namaski Lake is asking for their local contribution.
Damascus is asking for money, and we have to decide how much we want to give them. We gave them between 8 and 9 last year, and it seems like a good figure to give them this
So-
year.
So in your packet calls, there was they got a grant.
Yeah,
The grant was for $50,420, which the grant is 50%. So the local cost they have to come up with is $25,210. Doesn't mean it will come to that amount, but it could be that amount. I have emailed repetitively that our budget is $13,500, so there's no way we can contribute 25. So you all got a copy of the budget, is where you're at. And you need to decide on an amount
And
to
we have to decide
contribute.
on how much to spend.
And they'll have to raise their funds.
They'll have to raise some funds themselves. So does anyone have any other comments or suggestions?
Just a
Or
quick question, there's no reason at all not to get the full amount that we do have available? Because there's no other,
Well, your
We know
total
that-
budget's 13,000.
oh, the total conservation.
The total
commission
conservation
is-
budget.
And it isn't broken down into this much just for milfoil?
No.
No,
Well, that should be itemized going forward, because it makes no sense to not do that.
so
So I don't know how much we typically need for the rest
we
of the
give
year.
them, we gave them between 8 and 9.
No, I don't know how much we need as a
Oh, how much
commission
we
Saying
need.
for
so-
the correspondence expenses and
Right.
everything else.
Exactly.
We have to know, make sure we have enough for the rest of the year.
Oh, we might not even want, I know, exactly. Might want to be less than that, yeah. So if somebody has a
I mean,
figure.
I would think you'd want to at least keep the 3,000, because you guys, you have your dues, which are always like 1,000.
Right.
You have minutes and postage. And you'll see about the tree, but that's all on someone's driveway.
So,
But that, there he's saying should come out of the
I know.
stewardship.
somebody have another figure?
What stewardship?
I know, well, you saw the email.
I saw the email and was like, major disconnect here.
So, maybe under that.
What? I have a question about the fact that tree removal,
Well, we're gonna,
Well,
let's
not on the
let's
bill.
get this money
but
settled.
this has to do
Oh,
with
okay.
the 9,000 that they're saying that we need to come out of our budget.
No, it's
No.
not.
No,
He's saying
no.
he's
It's
just,
administrative.
$900.
future.
No, the
it came
900.
out of administration.
Administrative.
Right, at this point, okay.
Yeah, it's not coming
But I
out.
agree with David, I think when we're dealing with milfoil, we need to have a line item, because that's an every year expense. It probably
Yeah.
will be forever as we
Well,
work.
and proper budget should have line items. Our
Well-
budget should say this is much for
They-
NHACC dues,
So
this
just have
much
that
for
one.
correspondence.
So last year, they returned their money because they didn't need treatment.
Right. And then they had gotten some money from Manchester.
And then that went just back into the general fund.
So when the amounts don't get used, whatever's left goes back into the general fund. as a
Just
state.
like any rest of our budget does.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
do we
and
have a feel for how much we spend per year for, like, exclusive of the milfoil?
Here's the,
Wasn't there a report here somewhere?
yeah, it's in there.
It just says
I had it
that
somewhere,
we've used
too.
2.5%
Where's the
so far.
correspondence folder?
There's a paper that says budget
$321.
information, there's a whole separate one, David.
It was
in
in
our
mailed in
packet.
everyone's packet.
Yeah, I know it was, I
was.
just don't know where.
I did, I have it right here. I mean, it just says how much we spent year to date.
Yeah, and how much we spent year to date, but is that up to
So
date?
you-
I mean, up through February, up through March, up
It
through
says
what?
through
February.
April 2024.
Okay.
It says through, yeah, he has for 202404, so I'm going through the beginning. when I asked him for it.
Okay.
So you're at 13,158.84. You're heading May. I mean, there's always, we
So,
are in a default budget too. I wouldn't think I would go over 10,000.
no,
No.
you don't either. I still think,
I'm not sure we're even saying 10,000, are we saying a little less than
Eight,
that?
maybe?
Yeah, just, and, I think Simona's, I mean,
Because you're definitely gonna lose another 1,000 just for the annual dues. And that'll bring that, and then you gotta
Okay.
leave
I
it for postage
don't,
and.
I don't think we want ourselves down to, scratching the barrel at, I mean, at the
Right.
bottom. And I think we need to have reserves, because other things are gonna come up and we want, so.
All right, so the 341.16 year-to-date expended, and that has been primarily for the postage
In
and for
minutes.
the minutes. So extrapolating that, then we need to triple that amount for the rest of the year, because that's for 1 quarter.
Yeah,
So we're
and then you
gonna,
got the 1,000 coming out for,
right,
Dues.
so let's say 1,300 for correspondence minutes. I mean, and it's not always the same every month, right? Because some months it's a big, huge, massive
yeah,
thing.
and some it's not. And
we don't want to strap ourselves down to,
I mean, I think 10,000 safe for me.
I would say maybe somewhere between 8 and 9, if somebody want to make a motion or they feel like,
Because in the past, you've sometimes had so much money left that it's literally just gone right back to the
Right.
general.
Well, if you think,
Well, in the past, we had a bigger budget too. It's
Yeah.
been cut significantly
Yeah.
twice, so. Yeah.
So you're saying
Any
this
thoughts,
is just
Hollis?
a request for
Well, I
Namaski,
mean, we're in
not,
lean times, we're in a
just
default
Damascus.
budget,
All right,
so we need to think
I
about,
just wouldn't go over the 10.
yeah, I wouldn't either.
So,
Well, that part I agree with, not going over the
Yeah.
10. I totally agree. I just wonder if we should even be more conservative, I guess is the question.
I think,
so Evelyn, you want to make, what?
well, I think we're looking at one lake, we haven't, and you're saying the association that's up here for Glen Lake is defunct now.
Yeah.
But I guess I would be more conservative and talk about, between 8 and 9,000, like what you're
So
suggesting.
make,
Yeah, and I do think that Namaski, and they've been pretty aggressive in the past about, trying to keep their association together and asking for money, or applying for some grants, and Manchester has kicked in down there too, so I think that would be fair.
so we need a number, either 8 or 9,
8,500.
There you go.
okay.
We'll
Okay,
make a motion.
make a motion, do you have a second on that?
I move that we,
Anybody second?
anybody second?
I'll second it.
Amy did.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposing? Abstaining?
Okay.
is there
Are
any
you
chance
abstaining?
that we could do any work at Glen Lake and up above the mill pond?
You have to be approved by the state, so I believe that time is now passed because of
Right.
the whole process of what they've been doing.
Right,
But I
for
think-
this year.
For this year.
But I'm just thinking that we,
Susan, what we're gonna have to do then is to be
Yes.
approved by the state, they have to have an association, it can't come
See what
out.
happens.
but that association doesn't still, it exists as far as the state's concerned.
I
No,
have
it's
no
gone.
idea.
Well, that's, well, I
I don't
mean,
think so.
like, They were president,
There was one person
secretary.
doing it, and she says, I'm not doing it anymore.
okay, she had one person, but the state accepted that one person.
She
as
filled out
being-
the grant, I don't know,
Filled out an application.
I don't know the requirements for the grant applications,
But
I
not
don't
even
know
the
if,
grant, just to be
It's too bad.
acknowledged by the state as an association.
I don't know if you have to be an association, is
Oh,
what I'm
well.
saying.
Well, I thought that they wanted the association because that also gives them eyes on the ground.
I think that's why they formed an association, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that you, right.
I mean, it was,
I'm not
the
sure.
people
David,
that lived
look it up.
around the area were concerned about the milfoil, and the Namaski Lake formed association. I don't know if it's a requirement to have an association, or if someone wants treatment into their waterway, like a town could apply
The
for a
town could do
grant
it.
I
and
think-
raise money
Well,
locally,
then
I
maybe
don't
we
know.
should look into that again and then may have to go back to some of the.
I can ask
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah,
Right,
Please.
because we really need to begin to think about taking care of the river above town,
Yeah.
and.
That was
we can't just-
treated last year.
Right, but we can't just let it go because it's.
Right, we can't
gonna
just
go-
let it stop.
I mean,
Yeah.
bit by bit, it needs to be taken care of. So whether we have to do something, if we can't
Somebody's
gather
gonna have to.
volunteers.
I don't know how the other towns do it, like the bigger lakes.
We
they
asked
must do
Nomaskus
something.
if they would include the waterways as a whole thing, but they didn't want to.
At the time, right.
They wanted to stay separate,
So
because they raise quite a bit of money, I think.
if you follow the select board meeting Monday night, you know there was a presentation that was made by Andy
Oh, yeah.
Cataret
Uh-huh.
to establish a charter for a Goffstown Waterways Committee to deal with issues around the waterways within Goffstown. I mean, it's pretty generic. The draft is available. You can go on the Goffstown website and see the draft charter there.
Maybe she would had something,
And I personally think that's the way to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it lays out the charter, what its missions are, what its objectives are, what the deliverables are, who makes up the committee, the various members of the committee. It talks about representatives from Conservation Commission, DPW, Economic Development Council, and a few others that I don't have right off the top of my head. But again, you can find it on the Goffstown website. We talked about it Monday night at the select board meeting.
that would be good, because we can't just let it go after.
So they want to do a
Well,
cost.
the concept is to think about our waterways more holistically. You know, there's state regulations, we've got some local ordinances. How do they interplay with one another? We've got the whole DES taking certain initiatives. We want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, working, you know, together
Right.
for the same common cause, if you will. So that's, I mean, that's a high-level view of what the thing is all about, so.
It does raise a couple of questions, though. I mean, so for example, if that is established, it would make sense to have the milfoil treatment assigned to that committee. Anything budgeted, but is that possible and doable? The reason I'm asking is, when I saw the proposal, it was talking about this being a permanent committee as opposed to an ad hoc committee. Is that still the case? Be-
Yeah, more, you know, ad
So-
hoc committees kind of exist.
So ad hoc committees exist, and there's state RSAs that say a town can establish ad hoc committees. Most of the other committees are, there's like, you know, we have the RSA that governs forming conservation or planning or whatnot. So if it wasn't an ad hoc committee, but was to be a permanent committee, does that raise any issues with RSAs, with state law? And you're permitted to just create something like that, and,
Yeah, there are issues around that that need to be looked at carefully.
yeah.
But that's, I think, Derek's purview on behalf of the town, to make sure that, you know, we're not stepping on any other statutes or violating any
Yeah.
other statutes, or conversely, we're being consistent with other statutes. Because you've got the Surface Water Quality Protection Act, the former Shoreline Protection Act, you've got the designated rivers. I mean, you've got a
Well,
lot
you've
of,
got the local river advisory committee, which is doing the same thing, only not on a one-town basis, but
Right.
for all the towns in the watershed.
and that was kind of one of the primary missions, was to make sure that all these groups and all these activities are, you know, commingling properly with one another. So,
They might have to become a nonprofit. And I mean, it's like the Friends of the Rail Trail is not a town committee.
right.
But they're a committee that can go after grants and so
I think
forth.
she had to have, I think she had to do an association to get her grants.
If you want to do some research, if you look at Exeter, Exeter set up something very similar to this. They did a really nice job of it. It's a good example if you want to Google and do a little research.
Because it's too bad, because last year Glen Lake didn't need, because we had gotten it under control. Glen Lake didn't need any treatments, because they
They
did.
get a little bit though, I thought they got a
but
little
not
bit,
for-
or up the river
They
did,
did some
definitely.
up the river last year,
Yeah, they-
because they didn't need it in the lake.
And Andy went out and mapped that.
They did some spot treatments.
Amy came up and did what was there. So, okay.
But going back to what Colin said about Exeter, and they have done a really beautiful job
Yeah.
with, and I think this person that came to this, I think to the selectmen you're saying, and was suggesting, trying to put together something. I mean, I think we should really encourage that because, and see the river as, the river and the waterways, these are really important to Goffstown and how it develops and how it's used, just like I think the Rails to Trails are a real successful story. And I think actually the acquisition of land, is, you know, and this has become a wonderful recreation area too because we have so much of that. But I do think we need to encourage, I would say, a separate group, this is my personal opinion,
Yeah.
that, you know, that would be overseeing all of this and feel a strong investment or concern for it.
Well, we don't, as you know, we don't have much in the way of commercial industrial. I mean, that hurts us a lot, but what we do have is we have the river and we have the mountains. We have natural resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Which help to fuel some economic activity and
Right.
whatnot, so
Yeah.
it's important to take care of them.
It is
Well, they are, so
It
is
isn't,
this,
yeah.
are we suggesting that we approach this person, or who's, or, I mean, it's just not gonna,
What I'm suggesting is that we make sure we understand the legal implications of
Okay.
it in
That
terms of the
fit.
state, how it fits in regards to the local river advisory committee, which already exists,
okay,
and just to make sure that all the i's
Some-
are dotted and all the t's are crossed.
So that,
Because we talk about, you know, the assignment of managing the milfoil, yeah, that would make sense if such a committee existed, but we have to be certain that that's a legal
we have to make sure it happens.
thing to do
It
first.
didn't happen this year, so.
Yeah, the
Okay.
This is
select
a
board
question to be
had
asked.
some of those same concerns. It basically said, we're gonna table this, we're gonna form
Yeah.
a group to look at it more closely
Yeah.
and come back. So it's a lot of work yet to be done, but at least the seed's been planted, and that's a
Okay.
good first step.
We have a copy of the budget. The other item that we have is that we had a tree fall from conservation land over onto someone's driveway on map 41, lot 75. And I think everyone probably saw what came in from Derek. He thought that the bill should not be shared because we don't have money, but the bill should be charged to conservation.
No, that's not what he
that's
said.
not-
He
No?
said
No.
that we should look at this for the future.
We should look at it further, but.
He said, as you do it, we're doing stewardship.
This
we
one's
should
been
look
paid
at
for, but in the
this-
future,
This is paid for
yeah,
by the
this has all
town,
been
right?
paid for,
Yeah.
but in the
He's
future,
just flagging it as a stewardship item, as we're, he knows you got, we're doing stewardship now, and he's flagging it as, you know, to look at as part of stewardship, the maintenance of some of the conservation land.
Well, that's the objective. I wouldn't say we're doing it now, we're trying to get there.
Yeah,
I know, and I,
just he's saying, you know, like, maybe in case
I mean,
there's
that's-
another area that there's trees that could fall and hurt a house or something
He
like that.
specifically points out that we have a lot of land up there that needs clear boundary designation.
Don't we know
Couldn't
that?
agree with him more.
Don't we know that?
no, but
But
this one
that's
was
part
all
of the
taken
process
care of,
of
but
going
there-
through this painstaking thing, which everybody doesn't want to do, but how do you know what you actually have until you verify it? I mean, there's pieces of land out there that we all look at the map and we go, that's conservation land. Is it? Read the deeds and find out. Some of it's conservation land, some of it just says town of Goffstown. There's the difference.
a lot of it's town.
There's a
This has been
difference.
going on for many, many years. We spent a lot of money with Joe Wickard.
We did
Trying to map the mountain and what's up
Yeah.
there and who owns what.
for
And
years.
my God, we spent a lot of money.
So at one point, this is like, what was it, December, January, back when we first were having these conversations, and I came in and with Patty's help started going through the actual records for all those little lots on the mountain. And I got through a big chunk of them on one day. I haven't been back since. I haven't been back because I'm just not gonna do this by myself. I was waiting to see if the rest of the commission actually gets engaged in the stewardship. Because I'm not gonna do it by myself, not because I wanna be a jerk about it, but because it would be pointless if only one person does it. This has to be done as a commission to be sustainable, to be able to move forward, becoming part of the function of the commission. If only one person is doing it, now a person leaves and then what? You know, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
trying to do here, is get the whole thing institutionalized.
It's a big job, it's gonna take a lot of people to be involved. In fact, it's gonna take, in my feeling, it's gonna take more than this group of people. I think we're gonna need to draw people in from the community and create some sort of a format where, hey, call it whatever you want, an easement steward, or what, how would you like to be Mr. and Mrs. Smith over here, or whatever? How would you like to sign up to be a steward of this particular property? I mean, it is you're right, David, it's huge. I mean, we can't possibly do it all.
We
I don't
can't
think.
possibly do it all, but but step one is just identifying the properties.
No, I get that.
It's that simple.
You got no
And
job.
then like with all those little lots, okay, go ahead. With all those little lots on the mountain, I mean, most of that can be consolidated. There doesn't need to be 500 lots. It can be 1 lot, 2 lots, 5 lots, or some such
Yeah.
number like that. But we have to track down those deeds to know what we consolidate and what we can't.
Yeah.
And we're gonna end up with 2 piles. We're gonna have a pile of, these were designated in the deeds being transferred to the Town of Goffstown's Conservation Commission. Clear and unambiguous. There's another pile that says, this land was given to the Town of Goffstown. Consolidate those together? I don't think so. That's, we'd have to do it properly and legally, get them all in the same bin, then consolidate them. Then you can start talking about proper stewardship, saying, somebody or some group or whatever is going to be responsible for it. You can hand them one map and not hand them a list of 500 little lots. It's impossible to deal with.
And assessing would like them
So-
consolidated.
Absolutely, it'd be a lot less work and be able to keep track, and so I know there's good support there, and make Scott delighted, I'm sure. Go ahead, Sue.
I have a question, because David, I thought we all kind of took in hand a portion of those, all the rest of the development. You took out the
Yes.
mountain, right?
Yes.
So we've all done
And
our
that's
piece.
split up the other thing. Well, I've only gotten results from 3 people.
Well, I have a question, we'll talk about it afterwards, yeah. I have the results, I mean, I think a lot of us have done it, but maybe we didn't do it on the computer, so it's not in
No,
that
I
record, it's on
handed
a
him
piece of paper.
Paper.
Yeah, it's on a piece of paper. But when it comes to the mountain, then, if you're ready, if we've all taken our assignment and, quote, done our job,
I'm ready, I'm
I mean,
ready
if
to
we're
go.
ready for the mountain, that's fine, because, I mean, I have lots of, we border a lot of those lots on the mountain, and we have surveys, and other people that we know up on top of the mountain have surveyed their land because we've
Yeah.
had it done. So, I mean, we have some basic
Yes.
surveys,
Yeah.
external, not internal, but
We
external
have that-
surveys
We do.
that we're accessible to. But
We
if you
don't,
can,
we don't have to have a detailed modern survey of any individual lot if you know the
Exactly.
boundaries around the whole thing.
exactly. And then
We
take out those few pieces that are internal. Those will have to be done, that'll be a little more difficult to do, but,
But the first part is getting them all in the same bin, getting them all in the same
okay, then
category.
what do you want us to do? 'Cause
Well,
I figure
I am
I
willing
did my
to-
little piece of job, but I'm willing to do.
Well, I haven't seen it, so you have to send it to me.
Well, I should have brought it with me.
Because I've
get it to you.
only gotten results back from Amy,
I need to do mine.
from Andrew, and from Jean.
Oh, I
That's
have,
it.
okay, I have mine done. They've been done for a long time, but basically.
Well, I'll have to get mine done. I'll
So,
try and promise in the next couple of weeks.
Once you start, Evelyn, it's not,
it's just
Right.
asking some
Just
basic
not gonna
questions.
wait.
Okay,
It's very simple.
well, basically then, David, I'm gonna say, those of us that have done our work, we're willing to jump in and start working on the massive piece. I don't think we expect you to be doing it on your own. We're all willing to help. Just lay out what needs to be done.
Well, that's
Assign
what I
the-
did in January when I said, let's divide these up and
Well, we did
All
those.
right, what was my assignment?
Some of us did those.
Some
What was my
did.
assignment?
Okay, so the ones of us that have done that are ready to move on to another piece. So if you could give us an assignment, on another
He's
piece.
Well,
gonna try
I-
to get all these together
Once
first.
once I see the results, then I'll know it's done, but you send it to me, please, don't tell me about
I'll
it,
put
send
it
it
in
to
the
me.
mail.
Okay,
Okay.
so which parcels was I assigned?
I don't remember, I
Okay.
didn't bring the list with me.
Okay, I need to know that.
You have the paper at home, don't you?
Yeah.
I have the paper that has all the
And I
names on
probably
it.
have it.
Send,
'cause I
I
all I
have-
need to know is
I
tax
have
map
it
lot
right
number.
here.
And Billy Cunningham.
David
says
has
it's
it.
on
We
there.
can get it to you, Paul,
Okay.
we'll get you
Yeah,
your
we have it at
assignment.
home, I just didn't bring it with me.
Yeah, and I have it too.
So the next thing I will wanna do then, and we can go ahead and schedule this now, is, like I said, I went in once, one day, and got through some significant number, and going through the documents that are in town hall was extremely helpful. It really got you to the point that, okay, check,
What you did was great.
this is ours, this isn't
That is
ours.
true.
I wanna continue that and finish it, but if I could get at least one or even two people to go into the office with me at the same time, we can divide these big stacks up and get it done 2-3 times faster.
Sure.
I think Jane was
willing.
willing to do
Jane,
it too.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think she wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think she was willing to. She'll probably kill me now because she's not here volunteering her.
Well,
But I thought she had said that, didn't she?
She did say that. She did say that. And I think at the time we were starting at level 1, get this done first before anybody went in. Do what you had given the assignment for last time. Once you got those, then somebody was gonna
Yeah.
go in with you, I think. And I know
Well,
Jane
that's-
mentioned it at the time, that she
But
wanted.
that's
he
a
wanted to
completely
gather all
different
the-
category of things,
Right,
but I wanted to know, is the town responsible for any of this or not? And the reviews are, it's a mixed bag. For a lot of them, no, we aren't, because they did it in such a way that the town has no recourse
Exactly.
to be responsible, but others are. Some say, well, there's an easement, it's enforceable by the select board, it's enforceable by the planning board, or it's enforceable by the conservation commission, or whoever the select board appoints, and, you know, it's a mixed bag,
Oh, yeah.
and that's,
okay. Okay, so
well, so we'll find a date then, where, a weekday, when, what works for people. I will be gone the second half of May, but, anytime in the next couple of weeks.
I'm not here the
No.
first week in May, I'm gone.
So we have to come in to the office.
Yeah, but I mean, even Scott probably could help, I'd have to talk to him about it, but,
Okay.
because I'm away up on vacation the first, not next week or the week after.
So-
And basically, it consists of, you have a folder for every lot, and you open it up and you go through the documents. Sometimes you get the answer really quick, sometimes you have to read a few things, but you find out what's the legal status of this property.
He has all the history of the deeds in there, majority of
Lot
Have
of-
they all
lot
been,
of
have they all been
handwritten notes that
pulled
clarify
out of the
things.
main file? Have they all been pulled
They're
out of
in
the
each
main?
map and lot folder.
no.
He took each map and lot folder and it has like the history in there.
Right.
So like a lot of it like correlates to whatever plan, that's how we figured out like parcel whatever on the, says
Right.
this is
Yeah.
parcel 52 and you, even though that's not what it is, it's in the history.
Right.
So you were able to figure out what, remember some of the lots didn't have any, you couldn't figure out what it was?
Right.
You
Some
were
of
able to
them-
figure out what it was. by
Some of them
looking.
weren't even labeled, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gets us, it bridges us between, here we have this old plan from 1905 or whatever, laying out this 600, 700, however many lots it is. And here we have the modern representation of map and lot number. Do we have proof that we own this? Can we trace it back to that original map? And by doing this, yes, we can. And then we can find out how it was transferred and to what entity it was transferred.
Okay.
And so, at the end, then what I would propose we do with this, we have the ones that were just transferred to the town. At that point, I'd hope to approach the select board and say, can we just make this all consistent, please? So that we can consolidate these things and simplify everybody's life and get it all cleaned up.
And if they're under the same ownership, you can do a lot merge or merge them into one lot, and it's only $25. It just gets merged, there's no structures on it.
Yeah,
We do that for some of the non-conforming lots. Joanne just has to sign it.
Okay.
So, do you want to send out an email, David, when you have time and just see? Or contact people?
Yeah, well, who wants to do it? I'll get a couple of names and then, so I'll contact Sue.
So are we
Yeah,
talking
so-
about like maybe next week, because Patty's gonna be gone?
No, not next week.
Yeah, no.
Not next week.
He said
So-
the end of May.
You're talking
End
a couple
of
hours on
May.
an afternoon kind of thing, or morning kind of thing, or?
Yeah. Morning or afternoon thing. Last time they put me up in a conference room, a big
That's
table.
what I would, we'll reserve it again so you
Yeah.
can come back and forth, because files are right there, you just walk across the hall and they're right there too.
Yeah,
Okay.
So pick out some dates.
Yep, pick out 3, 2-hour blocks, 3-hour blocks, 2-hour blocks.
2
When
or
people
3 hour
allow
blocks.
We can
either.
do by
Until-
email if
Until
you
people
wanna.
get burned out, I guess.
You can send out an email maybe.
Yeah, if you have,
Give some-
you can tell me when
What dates
dates.
you have, and then send out an email and see.
If you're trying to do it before the next meeting,
All right, I'll send an email if I look at my schedule, because I know I do have some
Yeah.
appointments and stuff
And
coming
kind
up.
of go from there.
And but it had to be in the first half of the month.
the first half.
Okay.
All right, so then,
Any other questions on this right now? We're good. David, anything else? I don't want to not call on you for anything else you might have.
No, that's all. The only other thing was that I did hear after the fact about a TRC review that happened here in town for the property along the river. If you go upriver from Lions Field, that big lot, the
The
hayfield lot
Yeah.
that's now under something Esker LLC land, whatever.
Yeah.
it's not really a TRC, they meet with staff, they don't meet with any board members. And they
It's relative to that property, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
well, it was advertised online.
She shouldn't be putting it online, because it's a staff meeting. They come in, and they come in the morning, and they go over the staff flags, different issues they see, so that they can move forward at that point, and then, it's not like a conceptual plan, it's not
Well,
a
that's-
plan that's been submitted.
Okay, but except the document, it was advertised and
All right, I'm gonna
documents were
have to, it
attached.
should not be
And
posted,
the
because it's
attached
not a committee
document was
meeting.
for a conceptual plan to build 26 duplex units out there, 52 units in total, in the
All-
flood zones.
All on,
you know,
all
I
on
mean,
septic.
all on
Oh.
septic. This is the town's water, the town's aquifer.
Right.
Yeah.
The pumps are right across on the other side of the river. The water precinct has been interested in this property to protect the water supply.
Protect the-
Can you
yeah.
imagine, 52 septic tanks, or maybe it's only 26 septic tanks if they combine from one unit, into our water supply. I mean, my head was exploding reading this thing, so,
But, you know, you should probably, if you have, you should talk to Joanne if you have some questions, because they come in, we see people a lot that come in, sometimes it's like they're moving in, we call it the building occupancy meeting. It's also TRC kind of with staff before they move forward, because sometimes they're like.
Planning hasn't even
there's-
seen a concept plan, have they?
No,
Yeah.
it's just the staff
Yeah,
meeting
yeah,
that they
right,
do
right,
the
yeah.
second and third Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I give it to, I CC
Just-
Catherine on it, so she knows we're having a meeting. I didn't realize she was posting it, because it's not
I
a
didn't-
committee meeting.
I-
But it's just to get opinions from staff, like, I'm sure they were all concerned, and like, they meet with them, and Barrow say, oh, you have this, and then they go away,
So
and
how
they
far did
may
that
develop a
get?
plan, you may never see them again. You know, they may come back with something different, but I would suggest if you want, I can have Joanne call you if you want.
I'll give her a call.
Yeah, to explain everything to you. We do have a plan though to review, that I was doing as staff, the Roger Blood one.
Yes, we have, that's the,
It's on the and you have to flip the page.
it's,
You gotta flip this. It's on the last page.
The Sanford one.
it's on the.
Yeah, the sample.
Okay, it's map 5, lot 10, proposed 2 lot subdivision, creating 1 new lot. This property owned by Roger Blood, located 99 Page Hill, zone agricultural.
Yeah, so
He must be familiar with this
he was in not too long ago where he did a 2-lot subdivision.
And he's decided he almost originally was gonna do 3 lots, and he changed his mind. And he decided he just wanted to do 2. Well, now he's back to, he wants to subdivide off the lot that has the barn on it.
Wait, so originally it was 3, went to 2, but now this effect would make it
Well,
3.
see, this is exactly, he went to staff, he wanted to do 3 lots, changed his mind.
Did two.
He did 2, and he's got the plan done, and now he's resubmitted again, he wants to do a 3rd lot.
So it is 3 lots in the end.
Right. And am I correct in saying, I went by this the other day, because I came down from Concord, after you come around the Clark easement, the farm, he's the first house, the first lot on the right, coming from Concord into Goffstown,
No.
right?
don't know.
No, this is Page Hill Road below Locust Hill Road, going down to the.
Well, that was
lake.
Page Hill Road.
Tommy needs to come in.
I didn't know if you
Oh,
could
I
hide it.
didn't ask him,
Oh,
yeah,
It's
because
right here on the
Yeah,
site,
it's
you can see
I
where it
think
is
it's
on the
You want
site.
to come in?
Locust.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've never seen it, have we?
See,
that's what we're seeing right now, I was
know.
explaining it to you
Oh,
as staff,
I
because
see.
we don't have to always come in and present on every single application.
Very low end.
And that's why I sent it in the packet for you to
Where's
look
it
at.
located, David? Close to you?
No,
No.
close to Amy.
It's, yeah.
Real
It's on
close to
the, it's
you?
on
You're
the
gonna
lower
see
part
this
of
tomorrow
Page.
night
It's out
at
here
your
on
planning
Locust.
board meeting.
Yeah, I walk
Good.
by it daily.
So, yeah, and I didn't see any wetlands issues. There's a barn, so if you look at,
I see.
page 204, it's showing a topographic and soils plan. And they're showing, it's close to, he has the the protected well radius area, showing the buildable area and the existing barn. One time it was like a
He's got his,
big farm area.
are they submitting this for comment, or should they come in?
They're
and-
submitting it, I brought in as staff rather than ask them to come in because it was, to me, an easy 2-lot subdivision.
But-
And they are before the planning board tomorrow night. So if you saw any issues or concern, I
Now
want
it's
to pass it
turning
on
into
to the
3,
planning
right.
board.
But now it's turning into a 3? Or
It's
It's a 2-lot subdivision. He, last year, not even that long ago, subdivided it into 2 lots. And he didn't know if he wanted to keep it all as one big lot. He's very passionate about the property, I want to say that. So now he's decided that, no, I do want to subdivide off the lot that had make a lot off that had the barn on it. It meets zoning, they're
2 acres.
one's 2.469 acres and the other one's gonna be 2.70 acres. And you're required to have 2 acres with 200 feet of frontage in the agricultural zone. My history, I was saying, is that he came in, like we were talking about the technical review that was posted online. He was one that went in that, and then he changed, he decreased, we were like, oh, he's not doing 3 lots. He could have done 3 lots originally, but he changed his mind. And after thinking about it, he decided he wants to subdivide the main lot again into another lot. So right now, it's just a 2-lot subdivision. The other one already exists now.
He can't do any more after this.
No, he wouldn't be able to because there's only, he's in a zone where you can only have 2 acres, 200 feet of frontage. And he wouldn't be able to get another lot out of this.
Do you have any,
And I didn't see any wetlands issues, so I didn't really, if there was wetlands, I would have had to come in.
I saw on the original ones that were sent, I can't find it on the bigger ones, but there's a 100-foot line.
Oh,
Because
on the
there's-
very back,
Yeah.
the sightline concept plan.
There's some wetlands that looks like that they mapped on the top left corner,
From where,
or depending on your
so
orientation.
is that what you're looking at on page 3? Page 3, Page Hill Road, this, at the top right there. So on the one that would be the main lot, map 5 lot 10, which is the 2.46 acres, which has the existing house on it. The existing leach field's already on it, there's a barn already on it, that's the one where he's showing. And then the conceptual, the one that's gonna be 2.7,
0
A
acres.
smaller house?
Has a, yeah, shows a conceptual house and the barn. He's not proposing to remove the barn. And he's showing the leach field location. It'll be on well and septic.
Yeah, I don't know, sheet one.
So the lot
shows-
that has like a 100-foot setback from, which is, must be well near the Page Hill Road, near the road. He's showing that,
Shows some wetlands that are
100-foot setback
off
right here.
the Page Hill Road.
Okay.
This is on sheet one, yeah.
Well, I was just saying they're
Do you have any-
showing this right here. So there must be water right
Here,
down
and they
here.
have that.
Here's where it is,
Pulled
huh?
back from that spot, there's the road. And they also have it there too. There's like a stream that
A
runs
stream. See,
down
they're
there.
showing it right here. The stream's
Yeah,
running
and
right
then
here.
back in the
And
back.
here's your setback.
does it come from like the
here.
abutting property and down into there, or is it just following that area right there?
Existing leach.
I only see it right here. Like it's right here on the road.
Yeah.
So when they're saying this, they're leaving one lot is going to remain the same.
Yeah,
And they
He's
just
cutting
are
off- in
cutting
other words,
something
taking
off to
off a
have
lot.
another, to add something else.
the
'cause-
bigger barn, the lot that has that bigger barn is the one he's looking at subdividing. Having, it'll be 2.7 acres. And the house will be
This one
more
here.
towards the front. So he doesn't look like he's having a long driveway.
Okay, so do they have water? Is this stream running right through here? Is that a,
Yeah, there's water here that then runs down.
so it must
Does it
run,
go under the road then, or does it continue along? Because I'm not seeing it on the plan.
well, do I see a line with a couple of dots on it there that's supposed to be right along the road? On 2.7, do you see what I'm saying, David?
Well,
It looks
the
like a
water-
tiny wetland area along the road.
Yeah, it does, and I'm wondering if
very
it's
steep
part
along
of this.
there, and the water is running down, and then where does it go? Does it,
It must go into the road, I would think.
or does it go, is there a culvert under
But
the
you
road,
look
or
at the
what's
next
going
page.
on here?
Maybe a culvert.
Stormwater management, let's look at that
Well,
one.
but I think it's interesting is how it's very clearly stated on the existing lot, meaning that where the house, existing house is, but where they propose a conceptual, it isn't quite as clear at all as to what's going on, but let's see, the next
You know what, we
page.
should have somebody standing here before us who can answer
And
these
telling us,
Yes.
questions. We shouldn't be
yeah.
speculating on what we're looking at.
Exactly.
I agree, I
Just be-
agree.
All right.
And then it goes,
Yeah,
it's supposed to go to planning the next night, and we have
Yeah.
no chance to
Right.
even
Yeah.
Well,
talk
and
to the person.
that's my fault, I didn't ask him to come in, because
That's okay, we're not faulting you, Patty, just saying,
no, yeah, I think that's, yeah. It's just,
and he didn't request to come in. Like the Langley one, I asked them to come in because it had that conservation easement on it.
I just think.
Otherwise,
we
they
need
weren't
somebody
gonna
to come in here and tell us what's going on.
And then I thought, oh, this will be all right.
Yeah, no, I think, right.
There's like
What
a,
does CB stand for?
You know, it's
CB
like
round.
we can review it, because it does, if they get.
So do we want to put this
money.
off till next month, till somebody can come
See, now
in?
look at this here, they've got a berm set here.
there's,
and they've
yeah,
got
a
something-
berm with a plunge pool.
Right, right. Yep,
I don't know.
Just hate
we're
to
gonna,
delay
yes, we want him to
something.
come in next, explain this, because,
So your concern is, you have a concern with a wetland and how it,
How
so,
it flows.
like on
Well,
page 2,
We have this
stone
100-foot,
box culvert, there's already one there.
what does CB stand for? See all these CB
Catch
round
basin.
catch basin? Okay.
And he's showing the wetland setback. There might be a wetland across the road.
yeah,
Well-
right, up in there, it might.
That's what I'm, because you look at page,
That's-
I just hate to delay someone. if
We
it's-
just had a presentation for a minor
I
lot line
know.
adjustment on an easement. Now we're speculating on, is this a wetland, or there's a
Right.
stream
Well,
coming in
no, I'm
there?
asking you to look at page 2.
I think
This is why I
we
gave
have
you
the
the
question
packet
here,
early,
there,
Paul,
this
for you to look
Penny,
rip
Penny,
wrap
there needs to be somebody here
plunge pool
answering questions,
detail.
that's all, and it shouldn't be you. That's not your job.
No, but
Not to scale.
I guess he better come in.
I think we have a question.
So it's showing a wetland setback, and it looks like it's across the
And you're on
street.
page 2?
On page 2,
Yep.
if you see a wetland setback, the line's drawn, and it looks like it goes across the street.
Yep.
Yeah, but it also veers up,
Yep, up and away.
up and away, so I'm,
Yeah, that's wetlands there too.
Yeah.
Showing us where they have 100, and that's not the road.
See,
It's
Amy
way
knows
up
the
here.
land.
yeah. So we have
That's what I was
wetland up
trying to
here. and
explain,
comes
I don't
back.
know, I guess that's.
Right, but no, what I'm
northwest
asking
corner.
about is this one down here,
Oh, and you were talking about that one too.
which, and then there's this dashed line. What's this dashed line supposed to be,
Okay.
the edge of it? Because that arrow comes to this dashed line,
This
which
big,
runs,
the darker dash line,
yeah, which
that's
goes,
the wetland setback,
which goes all
which
the
there
way,
must be.
through
Is
both
the Page Hill
lots.
Marsh near them across the street?
Yeah, it must be.
no, Page Hill Marsh is up,
Farther up the
Farther
hill.
up.
Yeah.
is
Okay,
The
so
upper
you guys
part
have a
of Page Hill.
presentation.
very far from this.
Yeah,
This is all very steep coming down here, so it's a lot of ledge outcropping on this as well.
I think
Okay.
seeing them next month would be.
All right, so
so we'll table this
conservation would
until
like to have a
next month.
presentation from the applicant.
It's-
So we'll get-
You're not gonna want this
Yeah,
from
for us to sit
planning,
here
are
and try.
No, yeah, because he's on planning regardless of, it's a noticed hearing, so
Right.
they still have to give a
you? Leave that
presentation.
one here flat too.
And I'll let them know that you had requested a
Yeah.
presentation, and
Okay.
they'll probably continue it to the later meeting in May.
Okay, and I think,
A presentation, do we want a presentation and a site walk, or do we want to have a presentation first
Okay.
and then
David,
decide
you
if
already
we
did
want a
your open
site
Do you
walk?
guys want a site walk then before?
I don't know. Because
So
I
could-
mean, it's really hard for me to
I find the
figure out what's
dash,
going on.
the dash line confusing. I mean, okay, that's a 100-foot setback, but then down here it forks off. It's like, what does this even mean?
So I'm gonna let them know the 100-foot setback and the dash line is confusing.
I
That
think
you
we're
would like
saying
a
Clarify.
clarification and would like to come back into the next meeting.
that we're wondering what the plunge pool is, also its location, and where Rip Rap Plunge Pool detail is on page 4.
yeah, there's no sense going over this now.
So, yeah, but she was talking about she may want a site walk.
Right.
No, I think let's have them come in and tell us what's going on first.
And you
then-
can go look at the property too, like if you wanted to, like drive by, it looks like it's all close to the road.
Well, I can do that, but I think still it would be, have a presentation and then we can look at it on our own, but we may still want to have a site walk after that, after his presentation.
Okay.
I just can't make, I don't know what's going on.
Where's the plunge pool you were?
Well, we don't know, where is this plunge pool?
Page 4.
See, the details are over here on the right-hand side, and we were just wondering where that's,
Where it is.
yeah. Is that supposed to be this thing here?
I don't know, and there's a,
Oh, okay, I see where you're.
mirror detail, I don't,
Permanent stone check dam here. See,
Yeah,
where,
because runoff would be critical on
Right.
this because it's such a steep hill,
right.
and if you don't control the runoff properly, you could have serious erosional problems.
I think there's a lot of stuff that we'd like to, I
Yeah,
think we need.
like, the town engineer has the stormwater, like, they have to submit a drainage report, and they do review that.
This is happening here and there's something, but they're not even showing any culvert or anything. I mean, I think,
Yeah, I think if you look
Yeah,
on sheet
just
4,
runs right
you
Yeah.
can see the culvert comes down, and it looks like it's showing DB detention basin 1
overflow,
with an overflow
slowly drain.
meter.
There's a lot going on here.
I mean, but it's not clear to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think presentation first.
Yeah.
okay.
That's, okay.
Thanks a lot.
And David, you finished, that, you're done with your open, I want to make sure.
Is this what he is saying?
Thank you.
This is what-
Yeah, no, the main discussion we had
Okay.
about stewardship
So,
going
other than
forward.
that, if we're ready, we can adjourn.
Yeah, and let's do something else that we talked about. And I'm gonna take all the plans. If someone needs to make a motion to adjourn.
We
Motion
did?
to adjourn. Susan, and second on that.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This thing-
Aye.